Welcome to the Q1 Buck Poll. I'm Tim Hart-Haverhill. He's Mike Big Buck Hoffner. On today's show, we have bucks. Now, I guess I could say it's too late to register, but that's not the case because you got one more chance to register your deer at the Field and Stream Deer and Turkey Expo coming up on Valentine's weekend. Mike, we're going to be there on that Sunday giving away some prizes.
I'll tell you what, we have had a lot of deer brought in this year. Big-bodied deer with some decent racks as well, and so it's been a great season. The season is over, and I love talking about the bucks that have been brought in.
Yes, and so he's going to be doing that. In addition, we're going to be at the Branch Area Career Center each year. They hold their own buck poll, kind of in conjunction with the Q1 Buck Poll. Mike is the principal, and I don't want you to give all the details because we're going to have the segment coming up, but it was a lot of fun.
It's a great time. The kids were fired up, and it's all kid-run, all kid-organized. The only thing they ask us to do is show up, and can we promote it for them?
And then at the end of our show today, we're going to be visiting the Michigan Historical Museum in Lansing. We're going to be talking to Linda Endersby, and she's going to be talking about the marble collection. Mr. Marble not only collected all different types of things of historical value here in Michigan, but he created and patented a lot of different hunting tools you may use today.
And my understanding is he holds a lot of patents.
He does. All right, stay with us. When we come back, we've got all of that right here on the Q1 Buck Poll.
Country Smokehouse was started years ago by myself and Suzanne, and we wanted to specialize in homemade old-fashioned sausage and jerkies and things like that. People say it's a destination. They come out for the barbecue, they come out for the homemade sausages. A lot of organic people, natural people want to buy the product because they can't find it in the local stores. We are the largest processor in the state of Michigan. We invite all hunters to come in, bring your deer in, or just stop in and check us out so you can see yourself.
I recommend you come to the Country Smokehouse because you'll never be disappointed.
Trophy Class Real Estate specializes in listing and selling unique recreational hunting land and vacant land properties.
Hi, I'm Dan Hoffman. We're the premier real estate brokerage firm for Cabela's Trophy Properties in Michigan. If you're looking to buy, we have great properties like this one.
Here's 24 acres of vacant land and waterfront in Calhoun County. The property includes your very own 7-acre buildable island. There's great whitetail deer hunting and fishing. Own a one-of-a-kind piece of property.
Call us today or go online to see all of our properties.
When a hunter graduates from my new Super Whitetail Boot Camp, he will be in the top 1% of the deer hunters in the country. There's hundreds of little things people need to know to really have the ultimate property. I come in and show people how to put all the right pieces of the puzzle in that property. To hold deer, get more born on the property, make them come by the stands, keep them from the neighbors during daylight hours. I'm Tony LaPratt from Ultimate Land Management, and I'm inviting you to our new Super Whitetail Boot Camp.
Back here on the Q1 Buck Poll, and Mike, it has been a very tough hunting season. I know that we've taken in a lot of bucks here on the Q1 Buck Poll, but, overall, it's a down season according to the DNR.
Yeah, it's been down, but again, the people that brought deer in have brought in some decent bucks this year.
Well, in big body, we've had some big neck, deer with so you could tell, hey, that's a 2.5, 3.5-year-old buck. The mass on a lot of the antlers, huge this year.
Yeah, I brought one in myself. I shot early in the season during the bow hunting season, and it was a 10-pointer. It probably wasn't the largest rack in the world. I mean, it was a decent rack, but the body on that deer was incredibly huge.
Mm-hmm. Well, let's take a look at some of our successful hunters here on the Q1 Buck Poll.
All right, Tim, let's start out with Steve Whaley from Southeast Michigan, brings an 11-pointer. The score was 47 1/4. Gary Schrauben from Mid-Michigan's 12-pointer scores 47. Steed Scott from South Mid-Michigan brings in an 11-pointer. Nice score, 51 3/4. Chris Weston from South Mid-Michigan's 11-pointer scores 49. And also in South Mid-Michigan, Anthony Munson's 9-pointer scores 48.5.
Some of the prizes we're giving away include this 50 caliber CVA muzzleloader. It's a Wolf rifle. It's got a scope. It's got a soft case that goes with it. And we'll be giving these away to the top bucks in each region. And then we'll have a couple extra we're just going to give away at random. But one of the big random prizes, actually the grand prize that we're giving away, is that Yamaha Grizzly 350 ATV from Custom Connection Motorsports. And Mike, it doesn't make a difference who wins it. They get excited, don't they?
Yeah, they're fired up about it, but I'll tell you, what a nice gift. If you're a hunter and you spend some time out in the woods, especially as you get older, and you're thinking about dragging that buck in, there's nothing better than dragging it in on that ATV Grizzly.
Let's check out the ATV Grizzly at Custom Connection Motorsports. Hunters, register today in the Q1 buck poll and you'll have a chance to win this Yamaha Grizzly 350 ATV. You can register a buck or a doe, no matter what size. We'll give this away in a random draw at our final prize party of the Q1 buck poll coming up the first weekend in March. Jim Hull is with us from Custom Connection Motorsports in Battle Creek. Welcome to the buck poll, man.
Thanks for having us, Tim.
All right, tell me about the ATV.
As he said, this is an awesome Yamaha Grizzly 350. You've got your Realtree camo, you've got selectable four-wheel drive, you've got forward and reverse, you've got racks on the front and back. So if you're out in terrain like this and you get the deer of a lifetime, you're not going to have to worry about carrying it on your shoulder.
You slap it on the back, tie it up, and you're ready to go.
Exactly.
All right, well, again, we're giving this away in a random draw. All you have to do is register. Again, you could go online or you could take your deer to any of the locations across the state. Get registered today in the Q1 buck poll to win the Yamaha Grizzly 350 ATV from Custom Connection Motorsports.
At Outfitters Taxidermy, I do high quality work at reasonable prices. We do it all at Outfitters Taxidermy, from birds, small mammals, fish, deer, shoulder mounts, full body mounts. I pay attention to the details in the mount, like your eyes, the nose, and the way the horns are set. Make sure the measurement's all correct, just like it is when you brought it in. If you're not sure how to cape your deer, I can do it for you, show you how to do it, where to make cuts, where not to make cuts. When you shoot that buck of a lifetime, give me a call at Outfitters Taxidermy.
Hunting, fishing, trapping, Frank's Sporting Goods in Morley.
We got the biggest selection of trapping supplies in West Michigan and the experience to go along with it, so we can teach you how to do everything right here on the spot.
Long guns and handguns for any application and expert service from someone who lives the outdoors.
Don't forget, we got a great selection of ammo.
You'll find it all at Frank's Sporting Goods in Morley. Stop in or call Frank's Sporting Goods in Morley for the best deals around.
Hi, my name is Vic Havens, and we invite you to stop here at Frank's Sporting Goods in Morley, Michigan.
Get your boots on at Backroad Saloon, the area's #1 country music entertainment, featuring a spacious 5,000 square foot dance floor catered to line dancing. Backroad Saloon, where there's live music on the weekends and special guests. Coming January 16th, it's Big Smo. Tickets are just $12 in advance. And don't forget our New Year's Eve bash. Get your tickets now. Backroad Saloon, the Nashville of the North, the area's #1 country music venue. Back here on the Q1 Buck Poll, again, Tim and Mike Big Buck Hoffner. Well, Big Buck, we're about ready to go to the Branch Area Career Center and take a look at some of the deer that were brought in and some of the festivities that happen at the Career Center, where you're the director and the principal. And, Mike, just give me the once-over about the Career Center, because there's facilities like this across the state, and it's a great opportunity for kids to get some hands-on training.
Yeah, it's career and technical education. We have 15 various programs at the center, but I'll tell you what, we've got some of the greatest skilled training programs in the state of Michigan. Career and technical education has become very, very popular, especially with our governor. They not only want our kids to have academic skills, but they want kids to be able to graduate from school being able to do something with their lives, whether it's robotics, auto mechanics, health occupations. We got a gamut of opportunities for kids that I think give them a competitive edge when they go out in the world of work.
And of course, FFA, where the Buck Poll took place this year. But before that, we've got some bucks here on the Q1 Buck Poll.
All right, Tim, let's start out with Eddie Peters in Southeast Michigan, bringing in an 11-pointer, score of 54. Randy Lane in South Mid-Michigan's 11-pointer scores 49 and a quarter. Ken Bryan in South Mid-Michigan's 13-pointer scores 54.875. John Glaza in South Mid-Michigan's 10-pointer scores 45.375. Again in South Mid-Michigan, Brian Humphreys' 14-pointer scores 48.375, and Tony Griggs up in the far north's 10-pointer scores 45.125.
And again, you have one more chance. If you're watching the show or if you got some friends out there that have taken a deer and they haven't registered in the Q1 buck poll, you can bring it to Lansing, really Diamonddale at the summit. And that's where the Field and Stream Deer and Turkey Expo is going to be happening the Valentine's weekend. We'll be there on Sunday. We're going to give away a muzzleloader. They've got some other trophies and prizes they're giving away. And, Mike, that's always a good time. And a lot of people are like, oh, my goodness, if I want to win the ATV, I got to get my buck registered. Well, that's a great place to do it.
Well, that's all you got to do is get it registered and show up for the final party. It's as easy as that, and what a great prize it is.
Okay, now off to the Branch Area Career Center for the BACC Buck Poll.
Mr. Buckpool, Tim Hart.
Well, I don't know, everybody calls him Mr. Hofter, but on the show, if you've ever seen it, it is Mike Big Buck Hofner, and everywhere he goes around the state, it's Big Buck, and it really comes from a small buck that he shot many years ago. We were making a joke, and it stuck, just so you know.
But actually, if you look behind me, these are the two deer that I've shot. I shot this one a couple of years ago, and that one was about 3-4 years ago. Those are the kinds of deer that we're kind of looking to bring down to the state of Michigan. I've been fortunate over my hunting career. I've been doing it for a long, long time to shoot a lot of nice deer. And, as you get older, one of the things that I challenge all of you when you're out there hunting is bring in those bucks. But when you start to get to be my age at 61, you start to get a little pickier. And as I've gotten pickier, it gets harder and harder and harder to bring in deer. And just as an example, this past year I probably passed on 9 different bucks that I didn't shoot because I'm out to try to shoot one bigger than the last one that I shot, which makes it very, very difficult.
Okay, well, you want to hold the mic for her?
I'll
or
hold the mic, give her the check so she can hold the check.
She's got to have the big check. There you
Gotta
go.
have the money. Show me the money.
Well, tell us about your hunt, how it went.
Oh, well, I went out every day, and like the second day, my 9-point came in, and he was right next to my creek, and didn't have much time to shoot him, but I got him, and he only went about 15 yards, and he was down. And
Now, have you been hunting for a long time?
oh yeah,
And who took you out hunting first?
my grandpa did.
All right, so a good deal. And what do you like most about being in the outdoors?
Just being outside and in the quiet, pretty much.
Better than being in a classroom?
Yeah.
Anything else unusual about your hunt?
We didn't find a blood trail, and the only thing we found was a blood chunk, and then we went around in a circle, and then we found him.
All right, well, congratulations. Nice job.
Thank you.
Good job, awesome job. All right, here's another two-timer. So this is the smaller buck, Randall Linton. If you work your way up here, I know Randall's here. He shot 2 this year. Not that he's greedy, but Randall Linton, his smaller deer was a 10-pointer, and the score was 36 3/4. So congratulations on the smaller buck.
We've got another successful hunter with us today. We've got Randall Linton, and I will tell you this. He's very successful because we got 2 deer to talk about today. And Randall, you shot this guy first, 10-pointer. Tell me about this hunt.
I passed up 4 different bucks when he came in. Then he walked. He came from this thicket, and I just seen him shaking his head. He walked to me. I didn't think I was going to get a shot. He walked out of this thicket, but I drew back before the thicket.
Mm-hmm.
He walked out. I whistled at him, looked up. I shot. He ran about 20 yards, probably looked back at me, and he just started walking. And then he just piled over.
So kind of an easy little hunt here.
Yeah, that's pretty nice.
That's what we would like to do on camera. Maybe I need to go with you instead of Big Buck Hofter, make my life a little easier. Okay, and then you got the big guy. So tell me about this. Same area or different area?
Different area.
Okay.
And then, it was the first night hunt of this new property. He came in, as soon as I got my tree stand, it was about 6 o'clock. Yeah, it was about 6 o'clock. He came in, cruising. I grunted at him about 35 yards. I didn't take the shot. He looked at me. He didn't see me. He walked around the whole tree, or my whole woods, came back down the same trail.
Now, were you able to see him that whole time as he was cruising through, or what?
No. But I did look up about 50 yards and I seen him doing this. I thought it was a different buck. Ended up being the same one. He walked right to me, whistled at me. All right, whistled at him, looked up at me. I shot, ran about, I couldn't even tell you.
Not far, I'd say.
Not far.
And it looks like he broke something off here when he piled up. Is that what happened?
Yeah, I think so. It was all white when I first looked at him. I was kind of bummed out, but it builds character, I guess.
Yeah, you bet.
Yeah.
And the other side looks like he did some battle with somebody somewhere, I think. Well, anyway, now your biggest buck, or where's
Second
it ranked?
biggest one. I shot one on Thanksgiving back in 2012.
All right.
So.
And how long you been hunting?
Since I've been about 8 years old.
And who took you out?
My dad.
All right, very cool. And what do you like most about being out in the woods?
Peaceful. Not being around people, doing your own little thing. Birds chirping.
Kind of being one with nature.
Yep.
Exactly right. I like the quietness out there myself. So, anyway, well, congratulations. Welcome to the Q1 Buck Poll.
Thank you.
Randall Linton from Coldwater, a 2-time successful hunter in this year's hunt.
All right, now we're getting into the prizes plus a little bit of cash prize for shooting a deer. Pays to get out and hunt. Where's Cassandra Carey? I know she's here. I saw her. One of our female hunters also. Second one here to win a prize. Come on up here, Cassandra. You get to talk just a few minutes with Mr. Hart because you want. Look at this. Show me the money. There she is.
Show us the money.
Well, it's time to talk to a successful hunter, 2 years running. Actually, for quite a few years, she's been successful. Cassandra Carey is with us from Coldwater. And first of all, we're going to talk about your 2013 buck. This scored a little over 168. And what a fabulous deer. Tell me about your hunt here.
We went and sat in the fence row, and the wind was coming out of the west, so it was a perfect spot. He came in, coming at us, going towards the east, and he came up close enough to where I knew I was going to get a good shot, turned broadside, and I dropped him.
Now, had you seen this deer before at all?
Trail cam pictures.
Okay, so you had some trail cam pictures. You knew he was out there.
Yep.
You knew the spot he was.
Yep.
Right? And your dad was out there hunting with you, right?
Yes.
All right. And then you had another buck later last year, is that correct?
Yep.
So you had 2 nice bucks.
Yep, a nice
well, okay.
12.
Wait, a great buck and then just a nice 12.
He's pretty nice. He's 130 something, forgot.
All right, well, some of you guys that have been out there for 30 years and haven't gotten a buck like this, she is lucky.
Yeah, I am.
The planning is right. Okay, so now let's talk about 2014. You got another buck here. This is a 10-pointer. Tell me about this one.
We were sitting in the corner of the woods because the wind was coming out of the southeast, and we watched him come in, and we didn't know if we wanted him, so we watched him bed down in the beans. And about a little while later, my dad said, well, we're going to move. So we moved towards the south, and then we moved into the beans, and we spooked one. Then a little while later, my dad asked if we wanted to stay there or we could leave because I could go out that night. And after that, he said he was going to do something else. So he stood up, went around, and he popped his head up, and 2 small bucks he was with left. They ran because they smelled him. So he came back, and we got about 30 yards closer, and he threw a rock.
See, there's a lot of ways to have a good method out there.
We tried to kiss at him, like,
right?
He didn't want to do nothing. He wouldn't move, so my dad just threw a rock. He finally stood up, looked around, and I was checking out his rack. My dad's waiting for me to pull the trigger, and then my dad went to tell me where to shoot, and I pulled the trigger and dropped him. So.
Well, that is very cool. So a couple of different ways of getting the buck's attention a little bit. So what do you like most about being out there and hunting?
I like being patient and how quiet it is.
All right, and you've always been going out with your dad?
Yep, I like spending time with him too. So
that's kind of cool, walking the woods and the fields and everything, isn't it? Well, congratulations, and we'll see these on the Q1 Buck Poll. Cassandra Carey from Coldwater.
Everything for the sportsman.
DNR Sports Center.
For the hunter, tree stands, bows, guns, and gear, all the top brands.
Right here at DNR Sports Center.
For the fisherman, check out the huge selection of boats, marine supplies, and tackle.
DNR Sports Center.
Full service mechanic for boats, guns, and bows. One-stop shopping, a huge selection, and the best service around.
Come see for yourself and experience the personal service at DNR Sports Center. Everything for the sportsman.
Great country for Kalamazoo. Find us on your radio at 102.5, online at greatcountry1025.com, and on your mobile device on iHeartRadio. Kalamazoo's Great Country 1025, powered by Nash.
The great outdoors has a lot to offer, and if you're ready to experience it on the next level, Greenstone can help you get it done. We finance acreage of nearly any size, from a hunter's haven to adventurous trails, or even that relaxing place on the lake. Greenstone's loan options make owning land affordable, with terms up to 30 years. And with 36 locations in Michigan and Northeast Wisconsin, we're just a short drive away. To learn more, visit greenstonefcs.com. Greenstone Farm Credit Services. We finance the great outdoors.
Well, before we get into history and Mr. Marble, who really collected, invented, patented all kinds of hunting, paraphernalia, because, it's everything that you can imagine to make hunting or being in the outdoors that much easier. Way back when. And here's a guy who invented things because his buddy said, "Man, I like what you're doing there. Can I get one?" And that's how it all started.
Yeah, but then you had to pay for it.
Yeah. And then he sold it.
Smart guy.
And then he sold it.
Smart guy.
And then he advertised in all the magazines. So he did a lot of things. But before that, we've got Big Buck Hofter with some bucks here from around the state.
All right, let's start out with Jeremy Claybaugh in Southwest Michigan with a 10-pointer, the score 50.875. Tim Waite in South Central Michigan scores with a 10-pointer, the score of 46. John Talley in Mid-Michigan's 12-pointer scores 50 1/4. Jake Gilbert in South Mid-Michigan's 10-pointer scores 47.5. And Steve P. No last name. Steve P.
Mr.
From South, from South Mid-Michigan brings in a 16-pointer, nice score, 55.375.
All right, there's a historical collection that's going to be opening soon, I guess in the fall of 2015, the Michigan Historical Museum in Lansing. Linda Endersby was with us, and she's going to talk about the marble collection. I'm now at the Michigan Historical Museum. We've got the museum director with us, Linda Endersby. Linda, welcome to the Buck Pool.
Thank you for coming.
All right, well, normally we're talking about deer, but today we're going to talk about history and the outdoors here in the great state of Michigan, and we're going to talk about Webster Marble. His collection is coming to the Historical Museum coming up next October, and let's talk a little bit about his company and some of the innovations that he did.
He started out as a timber cruiser in the 19th century, and he was out in the woods, and some of the equipment that he had wasn't what he wanted, so he started thinking about how to improve things for various tools that you would need out in the woods. Mm-hmm. He, in 1898, established a factory in Gladstone, Michigan, and continued expanding there through different lines of products. His big early thing, he was a woodsman, so his big thing was a good axe. And he would complain because if you had a standard axe, you would hook this on your belt, it would tear up your clothing, it was not very convenient. So he said, I'm going to design something better. So he came up with a safety axe. You've got this so that the blade doesn't dull, it doesn't tear up your clothing. You can use this hook to hook it on your belt, but then when you put it down here, it's like a standard axe. So that was one of his first things, and then he branched out into other things.
Now, you were telling me that what he would do is he would create something, and then he had his friends would kind of test it out. They would come back with some feedback, and then he would expand and maybe improve what he developed.
Yes. His first safety axe, he made 18 of them, gave it out to his friends. They commented on it, and he did all that before he actually got a patent and started manufacturing them. But even after that, he continued to improve as he found different things that were needed. He had the traditional safety axe, but then you could get one that had this nail pick on it so that you could pull nails out if you needed to do that. He also had one that had this claw on it. So there are various types that you could get depending upon what your need was. And that was a big thing for him. What was actually going to be useful to the people out in the outdoors, in the woods.
And when it comes to hunting, he had some unique items here, and notice we have the gloves on because I told her, I said, I'm bound to pick something up here. She says, well, Get your gloves. And as we take a look here, really kind of a cool looking gun. Now you see it with the stock out, but
this is the hard part. There we go. His big thing was he didn't want to carry multiple guns. He didn't want heavy pieces, so he looked for things he wanted. Lightweight was one of them. Not having multiple weapons was one of them. So you had this, where you could carry it like this, but when you pull the stock out, it was in place, and it was more like a rifle. But the barrels also was like two guns. You could use it as a pistol or a rifle, because you had two different calibers in the two different barrels. So this was called a game getter. It was very popular, started around 1908, and they made them into the 1930s. And again, he was out in the woods. He knew people who were out in the woods. It's like, what do they need, and how can I make it convenient for them? So
it's the Webster Marble Collection. It's going to be at the Michigan Historical Museum starting next October. Anything else that you can share with me about the collection or what people might come and see?
There's a wide variety. It was donated to us by a gentleman who was an enthusiast, collected for 30 years, and decided that he wanted it to be preserved for the next several generations, and was gracious enough to give it to us so that we could display it to the public.
All right, well, come on out and see it. We'll give you more information as we go along, so make sure you get to the Michigan Historical Museum. Linda, thanks for being with us.
Thank you for coming.
All right, the director of the museum with us, Linda Endersby. I'm Tim Hart, and you are watching the Q1 Buck Poll.
Did you know that Tire City is more than just tires? Marshall Tire, Albion Tire, and Charlotte Tire are all more than just tires at great prices. We're your complete auto repair center. We're brakes, oil changes, steering and suspension, diagnostics. We're more than just tires. We're your complete auto repair facility. Tire City, Marshall, Albion, and Charlotte.
Coldwater Gun & Pawn, your concealed weapon headquarters. Buy, sell, trade. We do volume so you have selection with new guns arriving daily. Need ammo at the best prices around? Stop into Coldwater Gun & Pawn. Plus, we pay cash for guns or anything of value, including gold and silver, where we pay the highest prices in southern Michigan. Plus, we have DVDs, guitars, gifts, and more. Long guns or handguns, come see our selection today at Coldwater Gun & Pawn. Add style to your bedroom or living room with log furniture from Thurston's Furniture. One-of-a-kind log bedroom sets, dressers, mirrors, easy beds that convert from a couch to a bed. Specializing in custom orders, Thurston's offers a great selection to choose from. Plus, check out our Northwoods Wildlife Print area rugs. Want a camo recliner? You'll find it at Thurston's. Thurston's Furniture on M60 in Homer. Everything you want in log furnishings at great prices. Well, Mike, that's what we're going to do today. We're done. We're done.
All right, buddy. We did a lot of deer. It's been a great wind up here to the end of the season is over, and we just got parties to look forward to.
Exactly. January 24th, we kick off the parties. We're going to be in Coldwater at the Elks. Make sure you put that on your calendar. January 29th, we're going to be up at the Country Smokehouse in Almont, and we invite you to come up there. That's going to be a lot of fun, and they put on a great spread. For Mike Big Buck Hoffner, I'm Tim Hart Haberl. Thanks for being with us this week on the Q1 Buck Poll. Remember, whenever you're out and about, especially in the woods, be safe.
Great country for Kalamazoo. Find us on your radio at 102.5, online at greatcountry1025.com, and on your mobile device on iHeartRadio. Kalamazoo's Great Country 1025, powered by Nash.